Hello, and welcome to a little bit of a different video that I'm making. So, I've been working on a Ender Porter design for my survival world, and I thought I'd just make a dedicated video on my design. Maybe if someone else wants to build it, I can help them build it, and maybe some of the benefits of my design over, well, it would be Etho's design. That's the only one I've seen that's besides mine. So he actually came up with the idea of suspending an Ender Pearl in water, and then activating it by letting it trigger like that, and then teleporting to wherever it activates. So that's kind of the idea. And he had the idea a while ago, but then it wasn't possible because of inconsistencies, and now there's a very consistent way to do it. And he even made his own video about it, which was after I started on this little project of mine. So I think I still have some things that are worthwhile for this video, and I've even implemented some of his things, so he actually helped me a bunch because he had the trapdoor idea, which I did not have. That's a very good idea because then you're always facing down. But if we get into just a little bit of the show and tell of this, the other teleportation pad, I don't know what you want to call it, the station is over there. This station is over here, and this one's the blue one, that one's the red one. That one is about 24 chunks away, so if we look at my video settings, you can see my render distance is 24. So I tried to make it as far as I could within seeing distance, so that's all the way out over there. Obviously, if you don't have quite the render distance that I do, you're going to have to build them closer together, but you can always link them together. So you could have a station here that goes to this one, and then that one goes to this one, and this one can also go back there, and this one can go back there, and so you can link them all together, and it could be a super nice network. But for one of these stations, if we just try this out real quick, you can see that my design is pretty instant. I couldn't quite tell from Etho's video if his was quite as instant as mine, but I tried to make sure my design was as instant as possible, with no delay as far as I can tell. Unless the Ender Pearl randomly doesn't quite hit it on the first tick or something, because the Ender Pearl does have some random bobbing chance, however it bobs in the water, to actually hit this, so that's why the trapdoor stays down for longer than just a single tick. It has to stay there for a bit, just because this is as pretty quick as you can get between stations here. Some of the things about my design that are kind of unique, I guess, is that I put the button directly next to where you teleport to. So when you teleport, you can just move your mouse just slightly over to teleport to the next area. There are some problems with this station. I've actually made a better design over at that one, but I just kept this kind of legacy one just so that I could teleport somewhere. But yeah, it still works. It just doesn't work all the time. This one's the one that actually works properly that I'll be showing you how to build. Another thing about my design that's kind of cool is this light over here. So it dispenses out a Ender Pearl each time that you teleport. It's something that mine and Ethos had in common, but this one has a light here that kind of tells you if you're low. So this one has only things in the dropper, and it's kind of running out. What we have over here is a hopper that goes into that with a chest on top. So if things aren't in this hopper, then the light turns on telling you that you're low. So if we fill up this with a bunch of Ender Pearls, and then we also put some into this hopper down here, then you can see it turns off because we have enough to fill up a little bit of the backup. But if you start running out, then the light goes on and it tells you you're low. So you can still teleport around with it, but you're going to need to refill soon, is kind of the idea. I don't know if there's anything else too unique. If you want to add some more buttons, since my design just has one, obviously, but if you want to add some more, I'd recommend putting them kind of close to that one, so, you know, this one's the next station, and this one's maybe back or something. Technically, you don't have to put the buttons there. You can put them anywhere. You can put them out over here, out anywhere, out on the walls. I don't care, but I recommend at least one right next to it, just because it's very convenient to go from throwing an Ender Pearl down to teleporting. So if we want to get to actually building this thing, we can build one over here. So when you're building it, you want to go 7 blocks down for the water. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you're going to want your soul sand down here at the bottom. So we'll grab some of that, and you're also going to want some water with you. So you put the soul sand down here, and then you want the 7 blocks of water. And that is so when you throw your Ender Pearl down, it doesn't actually hit the bottom. That's kind of the idea. And so what we want next, we're going to want a target block And you can really pick any trapdoor you want, but I recommend one that's solid. So I'm going to pick the spruce one. You could also pick the birch or the dark oak. But the reason why is because I have a target block back here, so the redstone points into it. And so if you have something that isn't solid, like a jungle, right, then you can actually see into the target block, which if you're fine with that, then go ahead. But I'd recommend using something else. Then we're also going to want a dropper while I'm in the creative inventory here. So you want it facing towards you down there. And then to put things into that dropper, we're going to want a hopper and a chest. So put the hopper into there. We're eventually going to want these blocks out of the way, so we can just put some blocks there, and then you put the chest here. And then to measure things in that hopper, we're going to want a comparator. And we put that guy over here. Then we put a torch over here. And then we put some blocks there, like that. And then we're also going to want a light to show when it's low, like that. And just so you guys can see that it works, if we throw some ender pearls in, it's currently in the hopper, so it turns off. And then once it gets out of there, it's going to turn back on, telling you it's low, which is just what we want. Fantastic. So over here, I'm going to want to put some redstone down underneath that chest, and then over here, and then grab a piston, a redstone block, put some things like this, like that, like that. We're going to need a repeater to go like this, put it on all the way delayed, and that delay right there is actually going to determine how long this trapdoor stays down. So if you have it all the way on the delay, then it's going to stay down for long enough that the ender pearl should always hit it. If it doesn't for whatever reason, since I have had some trouble where even on that delay it doesn't work, but it works most of the times, but there's like a small chance that it won't, then you're just going to have to send another signal down the line to try to get it to hit it. It's kind of what my experience has been. But it should always work with this, but very few times not. If you wanted to, you could like somehow increase the delay if you wanted, right? Bring the redstone out and delay it some more or something, I don't know. Put a bunch of delay, but for right now, we're just doing this. It's good enough. Okay, so this is pretty much it for most of the design here. You obviously want to put your button over on this side, so if you grab a button over here. I recommend a stone button, because I'm pretty sure they're the fastest ones to reset. So either the polished black stone or the normal stone. You could also use a wooden one. Really doesn't matter in the end, but I'm using stone. And so that's going to be your output. That redstone over here going out into the world, right? And then your input is going to be into this piston. So when you're bringing your output out and away, you're going to want to turn it into a always-on signal, since that's how we're doing our instant wire across. I picked this instant wire because I really like just having redstone wire instead of some other blocks and stuff. I saw one that you could do with like rails, instant wire, and some other things, but I like it with just redstone dust. It's very easy to go around things, you know, if you need to curve around something underground, it's very easy to move around things, so that's why I picked this. If you don't want to do it, go find your own instant wire, but this is what I got. So to make it into an always-on thing, we're going to be making this design over there, so we're going to need a sticky piston, some slime. There's slime somewhere in here. Here it is. And so you do this, you do this, you do this, and you do this. So now, the redstone should always be on. The reason why you don't just put a torch over here, like I had done originally to make it always on, is that I'm pretty sure when you push this button, there's a slight delay for it turning off. I think. If someone could verify that, then that'd be awesome. If it doesn't matter, then I guess you can just put the torch here, and it might even be a little bit cheaper if you don't have a lot of slime. Then maybe you don't want to spend it into a whole slime block, and you just put a torch over here, and then you can skip this whole step. But I'm keeping it like this. This will guarantee that it's instant. I know for sure that this is instant. And then you bring out the wire some more. I recommend when you're building your instant wire, just place down redstone all the way to your other location, and then you go back and find where the redstone ends. You place down a piston, you put a torch down here, and you put a block on top. And that's how the instant wire works. So when this turns off, this pulls back and it instantly turns off this wire, which will instantly turn off the next wire down here, and do the same thing, and so on. So that's how that works. Now, when you have the redstone wire coming towards you this way, you're going to run into this, and you don't want to just connect it up right away, because if we pretend to have an instant wire over here, right, like this, and then we have this on. So if we pretend like this is that, you want this to be off for reasons I'll explain in just a second. So what you want to do, you want to put a piston over here, dig some blocks underneath, put a redstone torch on that block back there, on that block there, and right there. And then put a block on top. And this will make it so that when it turns off, it instantly and for a second gives it a pulse into this piston, which is what we want. Now, the reason why you want this redstone wire off all the time is so that you can add on more instant wires coming in. So you do something like this, like that, something like that. So now, if you have another station, one that's over there and maybe one that's over there, you can connect up 2 instant wires to this input. So you have one input over here, you have one pin input over here, you can also put one over here if you want, you know, add on all the inputs you want. So all of these you can connect up your instant wire to. That's kind of the idea. And that's pretty much it for my design. Hopefully I've explained everything pretty well. I've probably overcomplicated a lot of these parts of this. Mostly because I've been trying to make sure that it's as instant as possible, so that when you push the button, as long as it, you know, it's going to instantly flip down that trap door there, and it's going to, as long as the ender pearl can hit it, it's going to be instant. You know, if it takes a little bit for the ender pearl to hit the trap door, then it's the ender pearl's fault. But the redstone will make it as instant as possible. So hopefully this has been helpful. If anyone has better ideas for any different components I have in here, or something that I've made too complicated where it should be a lot simpler, maybe I'll make a new video about how to make it better and how to not make it terrible. But this works, this is my design, this is what I'm going to be implementing into my survival world, and hopefully it's been helpful. So I hope you're having a good day, and continue to have a good day. Bye-bye.